The woods are hot.
The canvas of the tent blurred the sun's rays and trapped its heat. Cam laid flat, his hands clasped on his stomach, and his ankles crossed. He glanced towards Maggie. Her legs were tucked into her chest, her body rolled into the fetal position. He wanted fresh air, but didn't want her waking up alone. Last night, well, he held her. She cried for several hours. Years of pent-up rage and hurt had finally escaped. After being brutally raped by a gang of teenage boys, she'd buried her feelings deep and kept her secret, all because of an unwarranted shame. And to save her father's political career, what a beautiful and vibrant and strong woman. Maggie opened her eyes. She scooted towards him, wiggled under his arm, and tucked her face against his neck. Her face was still swollen from her emotional breakdown. What he wouldn't give to get his hands on those bastards. You okay?
I'm sorry, Cam.
For what?
You agreed to take me hiking, not this.
He gave her another squeeze and kissed the top of her head, his eyes shifting to the valley between her breasts, a haven made visible by her tank top. A full erection throbbed, and he rolled his eyes towards the ceiling of the tent. I'm the one who should be sorry. I've been tough on you these past couple of days. Maggie slipped her hand under the waistband of his sweatpants and curled her cold fingers around his erection.
Please, Cam. I need this. And I think you do too.
He wanted her, but not like this. The head on his shoulders refused to take advantage of her vulnerable emotional state. If only his other head would stick to the plan. She crawled down his body and knelt between his legs. She slid his pants to his knees, tucked her fingers in the slit of his boxers, and gripped the base of his shaft. Oh. His fingers clenched the plastic of the tent beneath him. Maggie leaned over him, her long hair sweeping across his cock. Flicking her hair to one side, she ran her tongue along the inside of his thigh. Cam scrunched his fingers in her hair and rocked his hips, gliding himself between her lips of silk. When his cock grazed the back of her throat, a flash of heat swept through him. His skin ablaze, his eyes damp with tears. Maggie. He jerked to a sitting position, pulled her up his body. He laid her flat and sprawled beside her. He hadn't been with a woman in a long time, and if he was doing this, he would do it right. Listen, there's no halfway with me. Are you sure you want this?
Mm-hmm.
He gazed into her green eyes, searching for understanding, and found none. She had no clue what a disaster a relationship with him would be. Use your words. Say you want me, because you have to know that I'm not easy to.
I want you.
He unfastened the bottom of her white shorts and pulled down the zipper. palmed her flat stomach. Life with me won't be easy. He turned his focus from her green panties and fixed his gaze on her face, ensuring she read the sincerity in his eyes. I'm fucked in the head.
Shh. I never thought I'd say this, but shut the fuck up.
What are you doing?
Don't you want a condom?
You're not on the pill?
I can't have kids. That's why I'm not on the pill.
Cam slid his hand under her head, laced his fingers through her hair, and captured her mouth in a savage and hungry kiss. Would he really let her into his life? Into his heart? Panic convulsed through him, spurring the acids in his stomach to eat at his insides. Doubt clouded his mind and judgment until she slid her fingers through his hair and moaned. His lust surged past the point of rational thought. Maybe if there was a drop of blood in his brain instead of all pooled between his legs, he could do right by her and leave her alone. Let her find a man that didn't struggle with his own sanity.
Please. Please, baby. I need this. I need you.
Nothing and nobody could stop him from being inside of her. Cam traced a finger down the bridge of her nose. No condom.
Why?
Because I'm the last man you'll ever be with.
Cam, I don't think...
Cam slipped the tank top over her head. He drank up her beauty, his eyes locked on her breasts. With his body on hers, he pushed his cock against her sex. But she moaned, and not in ecstasy, but in pain. Am I hurting you? Maggie tilted her pelvis and forced him deeper, burying the head of his cock into her channel. Baby, let's take this slow.
What?
I don't want to hurt you.
Don't. Stop.
Oh, I have no intention of stopping. He lowered his head and kissed the side of her neck. Oh, you're strangling my dick. Not that I'm complaining, but I need you to relax. He forced himself deeper. Oh, damn, baby. Oh, you feel good. When his mouth came down on hers, she bit, licked, and sucked. Her tongue drove into his mouth. Her hands squeezed his ass. Cam jerked his head back. Ooh, slow. Slow.
I need you.
Slow.
You have to believe me.
I believe you.
I think...
Don't think. Her body stiffened, and he bit back another damned curse. What's the problem? I mean, have things changed so much that I don't know how it's done anymore?
No. It's just that
He clamped his hand over her mouth. Shut your trap. He lifted his upper body and let his eyes devour her flawless figure. His gaze traveled lower to where their bodies were so intimately joined, her mound trimmed neat. Oh, you're a natural redhead. He glided his fingers down her taut abdomen and watched her face as he circled a finger along her clit.
Cam.
Maggie closed her eyes.
Cam.
Her head drifted to the side. She moaned, and he nearly came inside of her. Take your time, baby. I'm not gonna hurt you. He circled his tongue around her erect nipple, and soon her clamp on his shaft loosened. You like that? He surged further, balls deep. You okay? Rotating her hips, Maggie ground herself against him. I'll take that as a yes. Clearly, his little fireball wasn't used to letting her lovers set the pace or steer the direction of their lovemaking. Now that she'd relinquished the reins, he'd make sure she'd enjoy the ride. Did past lovers really let her perform like some kind of fucking circus act? No wonder she saw herself as nothing more than a whore for men to use for their own pleasure. Ironic that Maggie probably had more experience than him, yet he knew more about pleasing her than she knew about pleasing herself. With controlled strokes, he rammed into her faster, harder. Oh, the clap of skin against skin spiraled his desire. Her pussy clamped around his cock. Oh. He wedged his hands under her thighs and pushed her knees towards her shoulders, bracing his weight on his palms. Oh. He tilted his hips, altering the angle of their joined bodies, and drove into her. His strides were long and slow and deep. Her nails sank into his shoulders. Her back arched, and he nearly lost his hold on his impending orgasm. Oh. Cam smacked her tight ass. Let me set the pace, or you're gonna make me come. Her hands gripped his head and pulled him down. She smashed her lips against his. What kind of foods should he offer at the restaurant? What colors should he choose for the booths? Dinnerware? Oh, and carpet. Think of anything but her liquid heat that was drowning his cock. Think of anything but her pussy squeezing around him. Sweat dampened her forehead. Her breaths labored from her lungs.
Stop.
Kim froze.
Push deeper. And just stop.
He buried himself to the hilt.
Don't move.
I have to move.
No, don't.
The muscles in Cam's back tensed as he fought the urge to jackhammer into her. When he felt the tension in her body fade, her climax subsided. He slid from her hot little pussy, flipped her onto her stomach, and dropped on top of her. Am I crushing you? Maggie turned her head. Their lips locked, and he entered her. Cam's hands slid beneath and palmed her breasts. He rocked his body, a slow and fluid motion, tilting his hips slightly, ensuring her clit rubbed along the floor of the tent. You are going to come again.
Uh-huh.
Use your words.
Yeah, I am.
Maggie moaned, a soft squeal he already recognized as her signature sound, indicating that she was about to explode. My little Hellcat. Cam kissed her bare shoulder. Palming the back of her head, he knotted his fingers through her long hair, yanked her head back, and captured her mouth in a fiery kiss. A primal urge to dominate her overcame him. Maggie was his little Spitfire, and he wanted to tame her. Get on your hands and knees. When Maggie raised herself, He gripped her hips, steadied her body, and rammed into her. He wasn't used to channeling this level of desire. He never felt this kind of lust. His fingers tightened around her slender hips. The first orgasm he'd had in some years, aside from self-generated, rolled inside of him. His eyes watered. The temperature of his body soared. His every pore leaked sweat. He plunged himself deep. She circled her hips, a slight movement that hurled him over the top. Fuck! Her sweet, hot pussy milked his cock, a sensation that almost killed him with pleasure. His body shuddered as he poured a seemingly endless stream of cum inside of her. Cam lifted her hands off the floor. He brought her upright, leaving them both on their knees, his body pressed behind hers. His arms crossed over her chest, his hands cupping her breasts. Tucking his nose in the crook of her neck, he waited until their bodies relaxed. He feathered kisses along her shoulder blades, and, slick with sweat back, his hands still cupped around her breasts, his cock still embedded in her sheath.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, what have we done?
Don't you dare say you fucking regret it.
He just had the hottest, most mind-blowing sex of his life with this stunning, quirky little hellcat. And she wanted to know if he regretted it? Oh, I'm not sure I can get enough of you.
One taste, and you're already addicted.
He kissed her, his tongue thrusting, fucking her mouth in a blatant display of possession. He kissed the tip of her nose. Then she did something he never thought he'd see from his little fireball. Maggie blushed. Cam wrapped his arms around her and crushed her against him, the side of her face pressed against his bare chest. He kissed the top of her head and closed his eyes. How much closet space would she need? Maybe he should clean off a shelf in the linen closet for her toiletries. At least he knew she liked Gramps, and Gramps liked her. If he hadn't tried to kill himself, he might never have met her. Ironic that his attempt on his own life had led him to the one person he now lived for. He loved her, and would love her for the rest of his life. He knew this. He no longer wanted to die, but had no clue how to live, how to love.